Alright, welcome back to Paul Justice. Let's just continue. What does it mean? Incidentally, we're sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. I have to do it? The chair's facing the other way. Would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which was the chair facing. I came back to the room, thought he was facing a scene in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at this diagram once more. We know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder, but this creates another significant contradiction. Again! Let's specify your reasoning again. Apollo, whose location in this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? He was facing away. Yours? They was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front, seeing where his indicator currently is? I think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall, in the middle of a game? We have a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Looking at the diagram. But if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where is the assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. But... Is there a photo mark where the killer should be? Don't worry, just think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing in order to strike our victim from the front? I mean, like right here? Killer had to be standing, well, here. You get points for flair, but that's about all you get. Ugh, thought I was onto something there too. I only need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Why are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard, hit him from above? Ha! It's simple logic, really. It was from the only place the killer could have been standing. That means the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know. The moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for these events. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send the team to the crime scene immediately. Let them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor. What? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. Let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. The killer was standing here at the time of the crime, and this cupboard wasn't there, which means... Paul, try moving the cupboard. Sure. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. Time of the murder, it has been shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of this crime scene once more. Appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang. Notice something, Apollo? The line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Nothing, Mr. Justice. Please point to the new contradiction indicator. Is the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness, the da-da-da-da. What's wrong? That you can't... If this is how it is, then you can't... That window don't work no more. You can't see. About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. Cupboard would completely cover the window to the stairs. Ah! That's right. Someone was standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What did you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. Someone was, well, the window of that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where do you witness this crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law and I have order. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, turns out there's a secret passage behind it. What? Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room that many regulars know about. You remember saying something about that, now that he mentions it. Secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in legal goings-on. Never knows when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. The room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to a restaurant above. The normal boss is getting away from the cops. Enjoy a cold bowl or brush, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see where a line of simple deductive reasoning has led us upon. I say it, but I don't believe it. I think I wasn't kidding when I said I needed this trump card for the last hand. The time of the murder. The murder was blocked in the victim's hat. It was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with destiny. Then he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. And the chance came, and he took it. Ah! Shit, hit with the bottle. What? Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. The ogre really was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and entered the hideout. Later must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. A single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Well, it seems this trial has taken another turn. I'm truly sorry to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution will continue investigation. As Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant is thereby declared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call me for an issue warrant for your arrest. Immediately. I don't think you can object to that. Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber be taken by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me. The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. It's hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he's done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Legal evidence. Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. There's still any reason, at present, to suspect you of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. Bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes, the fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. I seem to recall this being an issue early. The court in this case demanded an explanation. I can think of only one reason why you'd want to hold the bottle upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottle in the bottle. Well, Your Honor. See how the catfish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo. Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Yeah, just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down, other than to, Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the car. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Mr. Justice, Scanlon said that the court in this case demanded an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave you until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would light in the court. What evidence do you have to explain why they're upside down? I mean, if you pick it up, like, you're gonna have to grab it, like, with your hand one way or another. Right? It's actually easier to show than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor. Yes, now reach down and pick it up, without getting out of your chair. Ah! See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck, with your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor, and to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple. Call our dinner that evening, Kristoph. I was drinking my usual juice then too. Basically used the bottle on the table to do the deed. Then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought. More basic conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Porsche Boat Club. And here is one of the bottles in question. What are you going to dust it off for fingerprints to? I suppose if any around that it is. Your employment makes it a novice mistake, true, but it won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me. Mr. Wright, the bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. Okay. It looks like a regular bottle. Grape juice. Okay. It's grape juice. Oh. Hey. Hey, look at that. There's a card in there. Look at that card. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? That card, it can't be. Call that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Ogre, really? Yes, our little swindling Devochka? Sure. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to, and he lost the hand, and he didn't have it, because he put it in the thing. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? One you mentioned in this piece of testimony. I went to put my hand in the pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the Hive of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. Five of Hearts. This is the card, but also swapped. The only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night. You, Mr. Kristoph Gavin. How are the lobster and the bolt? That is all. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's bed 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete? Okay. Tete-a-tete, right. This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? No. You're bad at your job. You always have been. I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Kristoph Gavin? He submitted everything. We're processing his arrest now. I see. Still, one doesn't wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? None that we know of. Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on that matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation is listed as traveler. Not a profession, to be sure, and that's all we know about him. I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Mr. Wright. Yes. 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Kristoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and as a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed two things where I could confront him. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. Second was a man who could tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me. A dark time is coming for our legal system. The twisting of justice brought on by our very court system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yay! Court is adjourned. April 20th, 4:28 p.m. Justice Court. Defendant lobby number 3. Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... when you got all twitchy, when you saw the thing. When you saw her twitch. What was that, Mr. Wright? You have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers, most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reasons could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me, I met the girl with the pictures in your locket. Yeah, she came and gave us the card. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you're right about this locket. Eh? I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. The truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified, you said that locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I only said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. Still a distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why is the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. So I can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo? Yes? How about coming to work for me? Huh? You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation doesn't know it. Can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And the middle of it was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached a sad conclusion, and he led the law for good. You ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. You notice in today's trial, there's a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the evidence that shouldn't have existed. I'm not a haughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence that struck me as odd. Just seemed, well, too perfect. This was the forged evidence. Yeah, it was the card, probably. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card shouldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. The verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. Rumor is true. 7 years ago... None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. Well, I mean, that's an appropriate response when you basically made me present forged evidence, which could have gotten me, you know, thrown in jail, disbarred, whatever. So, I get it. And with that, Mr. walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea what they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. Find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, Attorney at Law, and this is how my story begins. The end. A new episode's been added. Ooh, Turnabout Corner. What corner? The street corner? Are we gonna go work the corners? I don't know. We'll see. And save. Okay, that was a crazy first case, and it's kind of shady as well, and crazy. All right. Next time we'll come back, we'll start the second case, Turnabout Corner. What corner it means and what that means, I have no idea, but we'll see. So, until then.